that I'm getting for you guys is, especially for this month, and I actually don't understand why the energy is so heightened. It could be maybe the sun is in a fellow fire sign, but what I'm feeling is, I'm going to use these. What I'm feeling is, there is really, really strong divine protection coming through. For a lot of you, I feel like if someone has recently passed away, and I would say like within the past just a couple years, or like I'm getting almost like within the past year, I do feel that they are serving as your spirit guides, and they're giving you a lot of messages to steer you in the right direction. They're also working behind the scenes to point you in the right directions, either via signs, signals in the physical world, so that you know that you can be okay. They're giving you some reassurance that you're on the right track, okay? For a lot of you, they're giving you reassurance that you are on the right track, and that if you take a risk, if you venture outside of your comfort zone, you're going to be very well protected, okay? I feel overall luck is coming through, and I'm getting the message that you are getting you're getting helpers that are going to be coming through to help you on to finish up, to wrap up some specific project, to give you guidance as to where to go. These helpers are not going to be like deep rooted relationships that you're going to form. They're more like people who just basically breeze in, and they enter your life, and they stay for possibly like a month or so, but they provide some very profound insights. So I don't see deep rooted connections. I feel more like acquaintances, but you find yourself almost like in the right place at the right time, dealing with people from a different walk of life than you're normally used to. And they're giving you a lot of good ideas that are going to be able to help you implement something and at least build up your foundation, okay? What I'm sensing is I'm getting a very, very strong maternal energy that has recently passed over to the other side. And I do feel there is a lot of protection. There's a lot of prayers coming through with this other person from that maternal figure. It could be like an aunt, but I'm feeling more of a female vibe with this energy. Somebody that has recently passed away. Somebody that might have been like very warm, outgoing, social as well. And I'm getting somebody who is like a well-traveled person, okay? The other message I'm getting for others of you is I feel like a lot of you have implemented major drastic changes in your life, and you have closed the doors on some people. And what I feel is the people that you have closed the doors on, they don't believe that you are, leaving them completely behind. They don't believe that. So they're kind of like coming back, tapping on your door, scraping at your door, and doing all these little annoying or, like frustrating things to try to get you out of your, to try to re-engage with you. And I feel like if you give them the time of day, you're going to be back at square one. Okay, so the warning here is if you even give them the time of day, but your mind is already made up, then what you're going to do is I feel you might meet up with them, and then they'll talk their talk. They'll give you, the sales pitch all over again. And I see you not saying anything. And then I see you like, just standing up and then just walking out. And it's you're going to be so relieved and so happy that you have the strength to do that. So I feel like somebody once again is trying to re-inject themselves back in your life, and it's not going to go anywhere. So just let it go. Usually I do 3 cards, but they decided to give you 4, so I'm just going to go with 4, and I'm going to use this as a clarifier. So let's get into your reading. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm getting aside from those 2 messages. I see like movement, progression, like things that you are. So I see you wanting to make like major changes, and like honestly, I don't see anybody standing in your way. Yes, major life events, life changes are very difficult to implement, but I do feel that I see you kind of like dragging your feet. I do see you dragging your feet, and I feel like for a lot of you, No one is physically standing in your way, telling you, no, you cannot do this. You will not have any type of bodily, physical injury. The fear is not real, okay? The fear, it's very much alive in our head as negative thought patterns, as pessimism, as self-doubt, and, this sense of lack of, I guess, like, lack of security in the self. So all of those things are manifesting in like blockages that's preventing you from implementing some type of a major move. So I feel that that's what you're really concerned about. But like I said, there's really no one blocking you. The financial situation might be a reason, but that alone, you can earn it back up. You can rebuild your foundation. So whatever you need to do in order to give yourself a clean start, do it, okay? I see you dragging your feet, and I feel like the opportunities are there. It might not come in this month, but it's telling you that the opportunities are there, and don't fear it, okay? So let's go into this spread here. First of all, we have the World and the Ace of Swords. So the World came out first, so let's talk about this. Once again, I see your world expanding. I see opportunities coming through for you. So relatively, everything around you has this sense of newness, this sense of magic about it. And I feel for a lot of you, you've been in a rut for quite some time, in all aspects of your life. And I feel like it could be a job. It could be like, trying to find work unsuccessfully. It could be a state of like very low vibration in which you don't feel abundant. And a lot of you have recently regained control back into your life via new jobs, via cutting ties with bad, unhealthy, toxic relationships, changing your environment, implementing some type of move. And I feel literally like you're picking yourself up by your own bootstraps, and you're taking a stance like, I'm not going to play the victim card anymore, and I'm going to take charge and create the life that I want. So I feel like a lot of you have been in a situation where your freedom was restricted. And I feel almost like within the past year, and I'm sorry to say this, I feel like for some of you, you might have felt like you hit rock bottom. And it might have taken about, 8 months time for you to build yourself up again. And at this point, you're ascending higher and higher, and you're starting to reflect on this situation, and you're just like, I'm not ever going to put myself back in that type of a situation. So there is some truths coming to light. And when I see this card with the World, it indicates to me some type of a universal truth, okay? When it's a standalone card, it means like information, truths coming about other people. This is about truths about ourselves. This is truths about humanity. This is truths that they're universal truths across all cultures, across all people. The truth is the truth. And I do feel a lot of you are feeling very, very empowered by this truth that you're at a good point and you're not going to be able to take your life for granted anymore. I feel like almost that element of time is ticking. You have in the past basically been stalled or lived like under the command, under the control of somebody else, and now you're breaking free. And I do feel that the universe is telling you that this is just the beginning, okay? You're breaking free. You're emerging from this little pod that has really held you back in cultivating all your skills and your potential. So I feel a lot of like breaking away on in this month. And I feel for a lot of you, it's going to come about as hard lessons. So let me just say, if you have scrapped away dead end, still debating and dragging your feet, I'm doing this reading on the 23rd, I believe. Yeah, it's the 23rd today. Challenging month. I'm publishing this video early mainly because I've been feeling this energy for Sagittarius where I feel like okay? The Leo energy is all about like protection, pride, family, and what we need in order to fulfill our ego. So I feel like it's not a very other-oriented type of month, but problems can come in from other people to you, and affect you in a very profound way. So I'm hoping that, you watch this early. If it resonates with you, that you make some changes, because I do feel we have some hard, heavy hitters here, and there's no way for me to sugarcoat it. Okay, so just if something light, okay? So the second set of cards, we have here the King of Pentacles and the Two of Swords. So I'm going to say this because this person keeps coming back in for all of your readings. And let me just talk about this person as a romantic interest, okay? Or like somebody that you've been dealing with. I feel there is a person in your life. It could potentially be an earth sign. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is somebody who is very financially established. They are in a position of authority, of power. And I feel like they have a lot to offer in terms of like in a material, in a financial, in a material, in a physical way. They have a lot to offer. I do feel somebody who is quite charming as well. However, the card that it's coupled up with in this deck is the denial card, okay? This is a situation where your intuition, the moon in the background, is screaming to you, there's something fishy about this person. And you're just like, no, but, look at all the blessings that come their way. Look at what they're giving me, or look at what they're bringing onto the table. And the cards are saying that basically what you see is not what you get. You're only seeing what you want to see, and you're not listening to your higher guides, your intuition. So please be very, very careful about this. I feel a lot of you might have shut some doors on some people, and I feel like, once again, they are scratching at that door. They are like tapping at it, trying to get you back. And I feel like this is a last ditch attempt to try to do something to appease you. And they had that whole stretch of time, that very long time period, in order to do that. So, miracles actually don't happen overnight. It requires work. It requires consistency. And for any type of an interpersonal relationship to work, both parties have to try and uphold their end of the bargain. If this is a last ditch attempt, then when they come back into your life, the same pattern is going to repeat. So take it for what it is. This situation is not going to turn around, okay? On the other hand, I feel like the Pentacle suit, I do feel, job interviews and things like that with you, and potentially a job offer that you are contemplating, mainly because it might involve some type of a home move, okay, like a physical move. A lot of signs are getting job interviews, getting job offers and things like that. And I do sense that if it's not a person, and especially somebody from the past, then I definitely feel it coming through as a job offer as well. It could be potentially a new love interest, but I'm going to look at your love spread in a little bit. So I want to keep this strictly on a professional, on an interpersonal relationship type of to keep it in alignment with those energies, okay, rather than love. But if this sounds familiar, it's somebody that keeps reemerging, and empty promises is what I'm feeling. Empty promises. And I feel like, Sagittarius, a lot of you need to take off those rose-colored glasses. I do sense there is so much intuitive messages. Heightened intuition is coming through. And I feel like whoever it is that I mentioned, that has passed on, that is trying to give you insights, they're giving you insights because they feel like you need it. Okay? Like you're not listening to your intuition, and you're not being careful enough, and you're not being firm enough in your resolve. So take that message for what it is. Don't let somebody, come back at the last minute and tell you they're going to change. That's not going to work, okay? On the other hand, I do feel here, we do have, once again, the High Priestess, which is heightened intuition. And we do have the Six of Swords. And both of these things tell me that you can belong in two camps, okay? The first camp are the people that have just like implemented moves, or if you're watching this and you're just like, okay, this sounds familiar. I need to do something by closing some doors. And your intuition is also telling you, yes, you should have closed these doors, like, and you're going to move on and you're going to be in a place of calmness, tranquility, without a lot of disruption in your life. And travel is going to be facilitated, okay? When I see this person, I feel like it's somebody who is almost like a refugee. They've been through a lot in their past, and they're taking all the knowledge with them into the present, which means that they're learning from past mistakes and they know how to stabilize their lives. They know they have incorporated those important life lessons into their future so that they don't get themselves in hurt again. For others of you who are still like not heeding the intuition and still, clinging on for something for dear life, I do sense what's going to happen here is we have you with the tower, ending with the tower. So you definitely can change this. You definitely can change it, okay? But I do sense that you have pretty much the first week, and especially I feel like the universe is forcing you to make a decision on your own. It seems like that to me. It seems like financial assets being halved, like cut in half, as a result of somebody else. Okay, so it's not an other oriented type of a month. And I feel like breakdown in a foundation, in a home environment, in a financial situation as a result of conflict with another person. All of this leads me to believe that the universe really wants you to be on your own and to make these decisions on your own. You definitely can bounce ideas off, other people, but ultimately, if you're choosing between two things, such as, should I go back to my old job? Answer is no. Should I go back to my former lover? The answer is not going to be a yes, because I feel like your intuition is telling you this is not the way, you're going on the wrong path. And then when your intuition is telling you these things and you're still progressing and ignoring it, then the divine intervention has to happen, which is spirit guides have to intervene, okay? And they're giving you like bigger warning signs. And I feel that, Sagittarius, honestly, a lot of you, you're, like I mentioned, you're a very lucky sign. You're ruled by the planet Jupiter, which deals with expansion and luck. And a lot of times, you guys really push your luck, and you have some very strong protection, but you do tend to push your luck. You tend to like wing things. Like you just, you feel like, oh, it's too, you get frustrated easily when you have to sit and do some kind of detail oriented thing, such as studying, such as like itemizing, budgeting, and all of these things. You get very overwhelmed, and you're just like, I'll just wing it. And when you get frustrated, you tend to wing things. You tend to like jump in first, ask questions later. Um, it's telling you to take more of a systematic approach and a more rational approach. So if you find yourself frustrated, just know whatever it is that you're frustrated with, like if it's something that you have to do, budgeting your expenses, um, doing some internet searches to find like the cheapest price for something, that's not something that you want to do. Um, I feel like you actually have to do it because, like I said, Saturn is transiting your sign. It's a it's a karmic planet. It's also like the taskmaster. So whatever you feel like you don't want to do, you're actually going to have to, buckle down and unfortunately get through it. In the process of getting through it, you're going to realize, wow, I'm a master at this. It wasn't so bad. In your head, it feels really bad. Emotionally, you feel like I would rather, um, I would rather be doing something else. But once you get through it, you realize, wow, I'm actually learning a lot of stuff as a result of like sitting down and really working through this. So I feel a lot of knowledge is coming through as a result of you forcing yourself to do something that you don't want to do in the past, that you know is good for you, but you didn't want to do it, and you shied away from it, and you made mountains out of molehills, and you made it into this, um, into this like daunting monster that you could never confront, that you could never face, and you feel like it was draining the life out of you. So you made it out of fear, out of like just hatred, out of just the aversion for not doing something, some certain specific task, something that you were just, passively sweeping under the rug. I feel like it's coming back, and it needs to be re-examined. And it's not that bad. In your head, it seems really daunting. It seems really complex. It seems really like, it seems like a mountain, like standing at a base and looking up at a mountain, and it seemed like just unfathomable. Like you just don't know how you're going to tackle this problem. But it's not so bad. Once you actually get yourself to do it, you're going to be really proud of yourself, and you're going to realize that it's actually not bad at all. So get yourself to the point where you think like that, Sagittarius, okay? Get yourself to that point. And I feel that it's going to do wonders for you. The way you look at yourself, the way that you can empower yourself, like after years of ignoring something, sweeping it under the rug, and then finally, out of out of your own free will this month, you're going to confront it, you're going to tackle it, and you're going to move on from it. And it's going to feel very liberating and very empowering. And I feel like this massive burden just lifted off your chest, okay? I do feel it coming in very strongly the first week. If this sounds familiar to you, whatever that is, take care of it, okay? So, in terms of the last cluster here, did I talk? Yeah, I talked about both. In terms of the last cluster here, we do have the Tower and the Nine of Swords. The Tower is a situation where I feel like a lot of you are getting new messages, new information that is coming through greatly this month. And we do have an eclipse too, and I believe it's in the sign of Aquarius. We have some major things that are unraveling, that are dismantling, things that have been built on false promises, faulty foundation, things that have been swept under the rug, like I said, are like basically being brought up in a very unpleasant way for you to re-examine, okay? And what I'm sensing here is you have I feel like the first 2 weeks realistically, but I wouldn't push it past the first week, to take care of these issues, to, close some doors if you need to, make up your mind, implement something. And especially if there's a job coming through and you're dragging your feet and not sure which direction to go, you have to somehow arrive at a decision, okay? I see that you're looking at things, and you're still, there's a lot of foot dragging coming through. I don't see movement happening for a lot of you, which means that, the longer you wait, the more difficult the move is going to be for you. For those of you who are moving house, moving homes, selling a property and things like that, I do feel there is some distress coming through, or even just stress coming through, okay? And I do feel, I'm going to actually pull out another card. I feel like it might be home, family related, but I do want to pull out another card. So what areas do they need to focus on? What areas is this Tower card coming through as? Because you've got some rough cards, so I just want to clarify. For others of you, I do sense that overall it is health issues, okay? So possibly, I'm feeling like some type of chronic pain, chronic aches, and you're going in for diagnoses and things like that, and you realize, the amount that's required to take care of it might be outside of your price range, might be outside of your budget, but you feel like this is not a cosmetic procedure. It might be something a little bit more. In terms of your mental health, something in your life has been causing a lot of distress, and it's really affecting your mental health as well. Emotional health, physical health, mental health are coming in very strongly here with the Tower card and the Nine of Swords. So take care of yourself, and take proper care of yourself. Take proper precautions so that you do not let somebody else, especially in your external environment, affect you on an emotional level, okay? So keep yourself grounded. Stay ahead of the game. Stay ahead of the game. Um, Confrontations are not recommended for this month. Even if you find some, really, really juicy details, information about somebody, and you're just like, I'm going to confront them with this, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind, I would advise you not to do that, especially for this month. I feel like the energy is not conducive for, dealing with another person, and especially in a volatile way. So I do feel a lot of information are coming to light, but it seems like you're getting like little warning signs here and there, right? And then by the second week, bigger warning signs. And then by the end of the month, it's going to come to light. It's going to emerge, and it's going to be irreparable, because once the tower breaks down, you can't really build it back up, nor should you. It means change the location, build up something else from the ground up, and make sure it's stable. So learning from our past, not repeating the same lessons, breaking out of this cyclical pattern where there's this constant back and forth between you and another person, and getting yourself into a situation where you have that freedom of mobility, where you're not constrained financially via another person. You're not constrained geographically via another person. It's going to be required of you, okay? So, having said that, let me go into your advice cards. So, we have the King of Swords and the Three of Wands. First of all, I'm getting this message here. Sagittarius, for those of you who are jumping, I feel like you're not cheating, but you're breaking away from one relationship and you're like jumping right into another. I don't advise it. I don't advise it. I feel like if you are planning to do that, so like, breaking up with some person and then traveling and then moving in together with another person, like seamlessly, it's not going to work out in your favor, okay? That was a really strong message that came through. And I feel like this was like right under the King of Pentacles. So the King of Pentacles and then the King of Swords. It seems like transitioning seamlessly from one person to the next. And what's going to happen is we do have, once again, like the same issues. So it's like you're trading the same person for somebody. They might be physically different people. And I feel like in some cases they are different people. But it's the same person. It's the same karmic lesson. It's the same energies that I'm feeling in, that I'm seeing here. The first person is a very unstable, very unhealthy relationship where two people cannot build a life and a future together. The second relationship was like when it starts, what's going to happen is there's financial difficulties, and there's also that sense of financial, spiritual, and also emotional lack, emotional, estrangement in the relationship as well. So don't transition seamlessly. Take some time off and be on your own. Build up your own foundation before you can, I guess, hop or jump ship, okay? Jump ship. So let's talk about your advice here. We have the King of Swords, and this is an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, and a Libra. A lot of you, for some reason, this can be somebody who is coming to visit, or it can be somebody who's offering you some advice or some, even potentially even news, communication coming through, and even financial assistance coming through, okay? This is a person who is in a position of like authority as well. They're a king, okay? So male or female. But what I sense is they're very rational, they're very logical, and they are just very, very like they're good consultants. So you might be waiting on legal counsel. You might be waiting on like official contracts and things like that. I do feel there is a little bit of a delay here. I do feel it will come in, but in the meantime, it's telling me like a delay. So you're waiting on another person coming in, an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And it could be somebody who is a consultant, somebody that gives you advice, somebody that gives you a lot of support. And what I feel though is it's a situation that is very, very conflictual. I feel you detaching yourself like emotionally from a situation, and you're gearing up for battle. That's what I'm sensing. He's got his wands up. You know, like the Three of Wands in the traditional Rider-Waite deck is the man. He's standing still. And this is more of an offensive stance. Somebody's getting ready to attack, okay? So I feel you're waiting on something. And I'm getting this energy of like, you know, bring it on. I'm ready. I'm prepared. And I know that it's not going to be an easy fight because you've got like this whole armada coming through and you're standing here possibly potentially on your own, so it's not going to be an easy fight, it's not going to be a swift victory, but I feel like a lot of you are taking charge of your life and you're just like, I'm going to stand for my own truths and I'm going to not let other people bully me. I'm getting bullying and push you from your ground, okay? So I feel like there is almost like I'm getting even land disputes, neighbors, conflicts between neighbors, fences being broken down, some land disputes, some demarcation between, you know, what is mine and what belongs to another person. It is a very me-oriented type of month, which means you need to be self-reliant. Expanding your energy outward. It's a very, very wasteful way of escapism, but also dissipating your energy and not being focused. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I do feel again some type of a conflictual situation coming through, and this is a card about competition. This is also a card about going through like some type of competitive situation. So a lot of you might have tournaments. Make sure you warm up for those of you who are athletes, especially. I'm feeling like if you do something with your hands, if you're an athlete and you do something with your hands like a tennis player, basketball player, just be very, very careful because I see a lot of hands problems. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of like possibly injury or things like that, if especially if you're an athlete and you use your hands extensively, okay? Which is a substantial amount of athletes, except possibly football players, you know, soccer players. Um, so I feel like it could pertain to health here, so that might also hurt your income generating abilities if you're going to have to take, you know, like a certain semester off in order to recoup, a certain season off in order to recoup yourself. But what I do sense as well is I feel like a karmic relationship is shown in its true light. So that means there's a lot of information coming through, and even if you try to, you know, sweep it under the rug, it's not going to happen. I feel like a lot of you might be a little bit combative this month. You might be very confrontational. You might be a little bit upset. But I do feel you're going to deal with a situation head on. But like I said, don't go off and confront them. Let them come to you. That way you have a better, like that, you know, first strike advantage, okay? So wait for them. Wait patiently for them. And wait for them to slip up. Don't go off. I heard this, I heard that. Look what I saw. Don't do that. Let them come to you. So draw back your energy a little bit, Sagittarius, and especially the first week, try to implement some major, major moves in your life. And I feel like you've been thinking about this long and hard, and you're going to be okay. So I just want you to know that you're going to be standing very strong and firm. You have some support, good counsel around you is what I'm hearing. The financial situation, honestly, is not looking too hot for this month. I feel like assets, property being halved. I feel somebody is like very stingy with their money. It could be like an ex-spouse or something like that. They might lose a job and then they can't, you know, deliver on the alimony, on child support. So you might have to renegotiate the terms. I'm not getting a lot of cards that are indicating financial windfall or anything like that, but I do feel possibly a new job that you might have to travel for, and there's a lot of hesitation about whether or not to travel. Okay, so that is all I have for you, Sagittarius. I do feel the month is going to end up on a good note, so just try to get through it. Okay, I'll be back for the monthly mid-month reading and see what's going on with you guys. So let me just see. I'm gonna put this back in because I need to shuffle a little bit more. What's going on for you for love and relationships? So romantic love and relationships for side 16. We've got the Tower again and an air sign coming through. And an earth sign. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to pull out some cards to clarify, and then we'll talk about them in a little bit. So I've got... I've got 3 cards for this air sign. Excuse me. And we'll talk about it when I get to the cards, okay? And then I'm going to pull... So we have here the Page of Coins up here. Let's see what this is pertaining to. Okay. So I'm going to talk about what's happening in the past so that you can have a little bit of a context, okay? So once again, I'm returning to this this deck, the Paulina Cassidy, the Joie de Vivre deck, mainly because I feel like for this month I want to focus on it. It's a very good deck for love and relationships. Actually, it's the Tower we are going to need. Let's get one more card. Okay, so definitely Blast from the Past, okay? So this is, we have the Tower in the reverse position. This is basically a breakdown in some type of a home situation, domestic disturbance, where somebody is cast out, okay? It relates to a situation that you feel, it's not real though. You feel like it's a karmic relationship with another person. And I feel like there is almost a sense of naivety associated with it, okay? Because we have such strong intuition cards, and all of those intuition cards were coming up in the general reading, which means that you were getting all these red flags, you were getting all these warning signs, and you tested your luck, and you hope that the other person would be, would be on their best behavior. And I feel like as a result of it, it really opened up your eyes, and you're starting to see it in a realistic situation. You're starting to see the situation realistically. And I feel like a lot of you have gotten yourself out of it because it's in the past position. What I'm also feeling is there might be children involved here with the Six of Cups, where you're obligated to take care of another person. And we also have the Justice coming through, which means a divorce, a breakdown, a legal battle. So I feel it revolves around children. I feel that it also revolves around it's almost like the result, you feel like the result is not looking too great. And I feel like recently a result has been handed down. It shows up in the upright position. So I feel like whatever was done, if it involves children, they're doing it in the child's best interest, okay? Somebody's taking care of the child, and I feel like the universe is taking care of the child. There's some divine protection here, taking care of you or steering you in the right direction. Or if there are children involved, they're telling you not to worry because there is somebody taking over the children and protecting them from harm. Okay, so don't worry about it. It will be okay. What's crowning this reading? And the crowning energy is the person or the thing or whatever it is that you are heavily thinking about in terms of love and romance for this month, okay? We do have the Page of Coins, the Two of Swords once again, and the King of Cups. So earlier we got the same cards, which is you're debating about a financial news, a financial situation. For a lot of you, you might be linked up financially with a earth sign, and the earth sign Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is somebody that does not want to build anything solid. They're a little bit lazy. They jump from one shiny thing to the next. They are kind of like caught up with their own image. They're a little bit too big for their britches, which means that they might be very financially stable. And when they are financially stable, their ego is like greatly boosted up by the financial, status. So they feel like, oh, I can, if my bank account allows me to, date multiple people, one new person every day of the week, then that's fine. There's just false sense of entitlement about this person. They're not a commitment type of person. They're also, I feel, inflated ego. Okay, inflated ego. And I feel this is a past energy as well. This is not a new person. I feel like it's more of a past energy. So if you've been dealing with this, try to extract yourself, okay? Um, I feel like this is somebody that is giving you like stop go type of energy. I feel like in this relationship with this earth sign, you felt very alone. You felt like you put in a lot of the work to maintain the relationship. So that means, like coming to see them all the time, planning dates, constantly communicating with them, following up with them, giving them that emotional support. And all they gave you was, they threw money at a problem to make it go away. That's what I'm getting specifically. So if this is we'll talk about brand new people in a little bit, but I feel like this situation needs to be left behind because you're not getting the whole story and this person is leading you on. Okay, there's a little bit of a leading on type of situation. So this can be sun, moon, or rising, earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. For others of you, there is some type of a financial battle with a water sign. So water sign is this is Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. A lot of you are at a point where I feel like this person might be a little bit manipulative. They might be distorting the truth. So I feel like manipulation. They're very good at it. They're very, very, very insidious. Like they're so good at it that they don't get caught. And I do sense some money potentially coming from you to them. And I feel almost like you're at a point where you already know what they're capable of, and you might be a little bit afraid. But I feel like a lot of you have recently, I feel like reclaim your power in the love environment, and you're not letting these riff-raff energies affect you. So I feel like in the past you might have been like, I'm going to put my all in this relationship, and if I put my all in, then it's going to work. Well, if the other person's not on board, no matter how much effort you put in, they're not in the relationship. So that means the relationship is going to be very faulty, right? You're going to end up feeling very, very depleted. And overall, it's just not fair for you to put in so much work and the other person is not being, the love and the attempt and the I guess you can say the effort is not being reciprocated. So I feel like when it shows up in the reverse, you're seeing this situation for what it is. You're seeing that they probably have other people on the side. I feel very strongly. And for others of you who have taken other people for granted, I feel like there might be confrontation as well. So just be careful which side of the coin you're on. If you are the one that is taking the other person for granted, and then all of a sudden you text them, you try to communicate with them, and you get dead silence, they've moved on. They've pretty much moved on. Okay? So what I feel is like whatever imbalances in the relationship, you're starting to see it for what it is. That maybe the other person is just not invested. Okay? Maybe they've got somebody else on the side. And maybe that's all that you're going to get from them. So no matter how much work you put in, you need to reassess this situation. And I'm saying that specifically for people who are not married, who are in a relationship that has been problematic. I feel like for those of you who are single right now, you're in a really good space. And I wish everyone were single right now because single Sagittarius is a very, very good place to be. Because I feel like you have that freedom of movement. You're not restricted by anybody, and your financial life is going to take off, okay? Let's look at the foundation. We have the Six of Coins, and the Six of Coins indicates um, it, it's usually a financial windfall, but we're using this in terms of like a love situation. Somebody's dividing their time between two people, you're going to know about it. Okay? And if you are dividing your time between two people, particularly an earth sign and a water sign, I do feel that you're going to make a decision as to who you want to go ahead with. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, if you are with like somebody for a long time and then you are seamlessly transitioning to the next person, without any break in between, it's not going to work out. So just take that warning. You need to properly mourn the end of a relationship. You need to give that relationship the decency, the space, the time to move away from it, to be healthy, to be on your own, to be firm in your foundation, to reflect on it, figure out what you've learned, things you could have done differently, things you could have changed about yourself, so that the next relationship is successful. So I feel a lot of like transition, seamless transition, one person to the next, one situation to the next. And it's giving me like the same energies. You need to sever ties, leave that energy behind, or at least clear it up, clear it up. And that means taking some time off, withdraw your energy, figuring out, do some maintenance work on yourself before you can transition into a new relationship. Okay, so I feel like a lot of you might be in dangers of doing that, or you're using one person to forget about the past person, and that just never works out. That the same cycles are repeating. So that's what I'm feeling, and I feel like if someone is juggling, you're going to find out. If they're dividing their time, you're going to find out. And I feel for a lot of you, somebody might be just pulling back all of their attention altogether. Like you might contact them and get silence, okay? Get blockage, get silence. And at this point, they're not going to give out any more of their resources, their time, their dedication to you. So I feel like that's for a very small minority of you. But Sagittarius, I do feel a lot of relationships that need to be fixed, okay? What's coming through here? We do have the Knight of Swords, and you've got a new person coming through. All the court cards are showing up in the reverse position, which means timing is off, okay? They might be perfectly great, nice people, but I feel like you have some blockages here within your own life that you need to resolve. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is a sense about, taking opportunities, going out into the world and implementing, or at least grabbing life by the horns and being happy. When it's in the reverse position, it basically means like a situation where you're dragging your feet and you're waiting, like what's going to happen. So rather than acting, you're waiting for somebody to act first and then you're reacting. So in love relationship, it could be a little bit problematic because we have very, very different signs and they're all coming through and they're also quite aggressive. So you might attract somebody who's very, very aggressive, not physically, not abusive, but I feel like they're aggressive and they talk a big game, but they lack the ability to follow through. So if you find somebody that you're smitten by, I feel like it would be good for you to reach out. Whereas if you're just like constantly waiting for the sure things, what you believe is like the sure thing to come in. You might encounter energies that come in with a burst of passion, and then they flake out, or they might run out of steam, and the relationship never gets off the ground. I do see a sense of timing being a major problem blockage in your love life right now, and I feel a lot of it has to do with getting yourself grounded, severing ties, completely ending one relationship before you can start another down the line, okay? What's associated with this Knight of Swords here is the High Priestess, which is heightened intuition, the Nine of Cups, as well as the Four of Coins. So the air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, there is a situation here that I feel like if this is also the blast from the past, there's no way around it. They're just telling you to let this go. You have to release this situation. You have to also know that this is a person that is a very short blip. It's like a very small blip on your radar. They're not meant to be with you to like walk through life with you. Okay, they're not meant for a long-term commitment, and you have to like be accepting of this, which is take it for what it is. And if that's something that resonates with you, and you're already getting all these warning signs, I do sense that a lot of you might not take this person, seriously, or at least you can have fun and all of that. But I feel like they're not going to be there permanently. What I'm also feeling is, I feel this element of the chase, especially if you're dealing with an air sign, okay? Like playing hard to get, wanting the other person to like pursue you. And I feel like if you are doing that for whatever reason you are, air signs, they are, once they like somebody, they tend to like them a lot. And once they're done, they can pretty much walk away. with a poker face. Okay, so once they've decided that, okay, my patience is wearing thin, they can walk away without like looking back. So you want to be careful where you are treading with this air sign if you're dealing with an air sign. For those of you who are in like committed relationships, I do feel possibly health problems coming into the picture, where one person might be out of commission and then the other person has to step up. Okay, so it could be you or your partner. I feel like a little bit of a high demand, like your partner might be more demanding of your time. You might be going out socializing as well. I do see that with girlfriends if you're a female, or with, you know, the guys if you're a guy, and your partner might, you know, require more time for you, more work for you, or demand more, I guess, like more alone time with you. So that's what I'm sensing. But I feel like long-standing couples, there are still some snags in the road that you have to work through. It doesn't indicate to me any type of breakup. Everything has already happened in the past. So long, you know, like people in committed relationships, especially marriages, I definitely do feel temptation coming through from the external environment, but I don't sense like it's severe, okay? It's actually a very good time to be single for those of you who are Sagittarius, male or female. I think it's a good time to be single, playing the field. I do feel a very strong air sign pursuing you, somebody that you are very much interested in, okay? Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. The other people are on your mind, but I don't feel a lot of contact, a lot of worthy communication, but I do feel air sign coming through, pursuing you sometime for this month, okay? I wish you the best, Sagittarius. The video is a little bit long, I apologize, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a heavy hitter, so I just want you to get as much information as you can. If you'd like a private reading, please contact me at temperatestar@gmail.com or visit my website. The information is in the description box below. I'll talk to you for when I start recording the mid-month reading, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.